know that feeling like you always have to be perfect,
Oh, yeah.
always on point, never mess up.
Like you've got to nail it every single time.
Right, exactly.
It's exhausting.
Well, what if I told you those stumbles, those little fumbles, those trips, those are actually not failures at all?
What if those were like the secret sauce?
Yeah, like there's something valuable hidden in there.
Quirky, even.
That's exactly what we're diving into today.
Going deep.
This is a deep dive into this idea of like the art of fumbling.
The art of fumbling. I like that.
And our source material for today is excerpts from Gravity, A Fumbler's Worst Frenemy.
Oh, I love that title.
That's a good one.
Gravity really can feel like the enemy sometimes.
Especially if you're prone to a little clumsiness like myself.
So what's my mission with this deep dive then?
Well, I'm hoping that by the end of this, you'll walk away seeing those imperfections, those fumbles in a whole new light.
Like maybe even embracing those little mess-ups.
Exactly.
I'm in.
So the book starts off with this idea called the call to fumble right in the prologue.
Okay, a call to fumble, so it's like an invitation
It is.
to like lean into the mess.
Yes, it's directly challenging that whole idea of needing to be perfect all the time.
Which, let's be honest, can be so overwhelming.
Oh, absolutely. And it's saying that those mistakes, those fumbles, they're not something to hide or be ashamed of.
But they might actually be like the stepping stones to something really interesting.
Right. It's almost like learning and growing and even creating. It's all tangled up with making those mistakes, with those fumbles.
That's a really cool way to look at it.
And the book really pushes you to kind of look at those moments differently instead of just brushing them under the rug.
Yeah, find something to appreciate in the mess.
Exactly. It talks about there being a kind of beauty in not being perfect, a strength in those unexpected moments.
I like that.
So where do we even begin with this whole art of fumbling?
Well, the text starts with something I think we can all relate to, our relationship with gravity.
Oh, yeah.
You know, for us fumblers, gravity isn't just some scientific concept.
No, it's personal.
It feels very personal sometimes.
Absolute. For most people, gravity is just it's a given, right?
It's like background noise.
But for those of us who maybe trip over air occasionally or, misjudge a step.
It can feel like gravity has a personal vendetta.
Totally.
Like it's a mischievous little gremlin specifically targeting your full coffee mug.
Oh, or that patch of sidewalk that looks totally level.
But then you hit it and it's like, bam.
You're down.
And the coffee goes flying.
Oh, yeah, tell me about it. I feel like I'm constantly battling with gravity.
Well, the book does a good job of capturing those everyday mishaps,
Yeah.
the spills, the trips, those moments where your own feet seem to betray you.
But what's really cool is how it reframes those moments.
Tell me more about that reframing.
Well, it's suggesting that for every stumble, there's a story, for every spill, a memory, even if it's just the memory of that frantic cleanup.
So it's like finding the little narratives in those moments that we might normally just dismiss as clumsy.
Exactly like the next time you spill coffee all over yourself.
Which, let's be honest, happens more often than I'd like to admit.
Instead of getting frustrated, just think, another chapter in the ongoing saga of me versus gravity.
I love that it makes it so much lighter.
Right? And it's true. The book also talks about how people who experience these fumbles tend to develop a certain resilience.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's like all those unplanned encounters with gravity.
They kind of toughen you up.
They do. You learn to adapt, to recover.
Both physically and emotionally.
You learn to catch yourself mid-stumble.
Or brush it off with a laugh.
That's crucial, the humor.
Oh, it's essential. Sometimes you just gotta laugh at yourself.
And let's not forget the expertise you develop in cleaning products.
Oh my goodness, yes. Stain remover is my best friend.
Me too.
So we've talked about our own personal dance with gravity, but then the book takes a turn and looks at tripping through history.
Tripping through history, what do you mean?
When you first read that, what did you think?
I'll be honest, I was a little confused at first.
Me too.
Like, where are we going with this?
Right, because we usually think of history as these big milestones, right?
The wars, the discoveries, the big inventions.
Exactly. But what if we looked at the clumsier moments?
The banana peel moments, as the book calls them.
Yes, those little stumbles that might have actually nudged things in unexpected directions.
That's a really interesting way to look at it.
It is. It starts with the idea of the first fall, like imagining some early human just tripping.
Can you imagine?
Almost funny to think about.
Like this foundational human experience.
I know, right? And then it moves through different periods, like ancient Egypt.
Okay, so we're talking pyramids, pharaohs, hieroglyphics.
Exactly. And we tend to think of those things as being perfect.
Flawless, right?
But the book suggests that even then there were probably misplaced period blocks.
Oh, yeah, or like a sneeze mid-hieroglyphic carving.
I love that image.
It brings in this human element of error into these seemingly perfect moments.
It makes history feel more relatable.
Definitely. And then there's that anecdote about the Renaissance.
Oh yeah, tell me about that.
So it links an apprentice's trip to Da Vinci, maybe getting the idea for the parachute.
It's amazing, right? Like this clumsy moment potentially sparking a huge innovation.
It makes you wonder how many accidental sparks like that have happened throughout history.
So many, and it really reframes these seemingly insignificant events.
It shows that those stumbles, those falls, they're woven into the fabric of how things have happened.
And the ability to find humor in those moments, even centuries ago, it's a constant.
We're all connected by our clumsiness.
Exactly. And then fast forward to modern times, and we have social media.
Oh yeah, now we have a platform for all of our collective stumbles.
It's like all of our falls are out there for the world to see.
Which can feel embarrassing sometimes.
But it also creates this strange sense of shared experience.
It's like we're all in this clumsy boat together.
Exactly. We've all had those moments where we trip over nothing or spill our coffee all over ourselves.
And now, thanks to the internet, we can all laugh at each other's misfunctions.
But it's not mean-spirited. It's more like a sense of solidarity.
Like, hey, we're all human. We all mess up.
And as the chapter concludes, it reminds us that those really memorable moments often come from those unexpected tumbles.
So embrace the stumbles.
Yes, they make for good stories.
They do. Okay, so we've talked about historical trips, but now let's move on to another classic area for fumbles.
Spill, baby, spill.
Oh yeah, this is a big one.
I think everyone can relate to this in some way.
Absolutely. Gravity seems to have a particular fondness for liquids.
It does. The book calls them gravity's wettest tricks.
Which is so accurate.
Right. It really captures that feeling of like, oh no, here we go again.
That moment when you just know the drink is going down.
And you're powerless to stop it.
The Coffee Chronicles section of the book was my favorite.
Mine too. It just resonated so much.
That feeling of betrayal when your perfectly brewed coffee decides to take a dive.
And it always seems to target the most important thing at that moment.
Always either your laptop, your phone, or some very important papers.
Or your favorite white shirt.
The book talks about this cosmic connection between caffeine and calamity.
Like the universe just has it out for our morning coffee.
It's a real struggle.
It is. And then there are the laws of spillage.
Oh, tell me about these laws.
Well, it's this unwritten rule that a spill will always target the most valuable or the most sustainable item.
That's so true.
It's Murphy's Law, but for spills.
I feel like I'm constantly testing these laws.
But what's really cool is how the book reframes spills.
Okay, how so?
Instead of seeing them as disasters to be avoided, it presents them as opportunities.
Opportunity for what?
For comedy, for one.
Okay, I could see that.
Like, imagine you're at a fancy dinner party and you knock over a glass of red wine.
Oh no, the horror.
Instead of panicking, you just embrace the chaos, you laugh it off, you make a joke.
Turn it into a story.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe you even spark a conversation with someone new while you're cleaning up.
That's a good point. Sometimes these mishaps can actually bring people together.
They can. And the book also talks about spills as opportunities for art.
Art? I'm intrigued.
Think about it, that spilled coffee on your tablecloth, it's basically abstract art.
You're turning your clumsiness into a masterpiece.
Exactly. And the book has this great anecdote about the great soup spill of 2022.
Oh, I love a good spill story.
It's basically this relatable moment of kitchen chaos that turned into a funny family legend.
See, spills aren't all bad.
No, they're not. And the book even goes as far as to say that stains are a badge of humanity.
A badge of humanity.
It's a way of embracing our imperfect nature.
Instead of apologizing for every little mark, we should celebrate them.
Yes, like these are the marks of a life well lived.
I love that perspective.
So we've talked about gravity, historical stumbles and spills, and now we get to the core idea.
Art of the fumble.
The book really takes this idea beyond just being clumsy.
So it's not just about tripping and spilling.
No, it's deeper than that. It's about reframing those moments and seeing the value in them.
Okay, so how does it do that?
Well, it starts by presenting fumbling as almost a performance.
A performance.
Like there's an art to it.
I'm listening.
It talks about graceful stumbles and artful slips.
So even in those moments where you feel most awkward,
There can be a certain unintentional flair.
like you're stumbling with style.
Exactly. And it described the fumbler's footwork as this unpredictable dance.
I love that image.
And the key is in the recovery, dusting yourself off with a self-deprecating joke and just carrying on.
About not taking yourself too seriously.
Exactly. And then a book takes it even further, suggesting that fumbling can actually be a form of art.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued.
Think about it. Spilled drinks become abstract patterns. Fumbled words turn into memorable catchphrases.
It's about seeing those imperfections as raw material for something new.
And the book's analysis of the word fumble itself is really insightful.
What does it say about the word?
Well, it points out that it's not a harsh word. It has a gentle, playful feel to it.
It does. When you say it out loud, it's not aggressive.
Right. And it kind of embodies that slightly off-kilter nature of the act itself.
It's like a soft stumble.
And then the book brings in this concept of the serendipity of mistakes.
Okay, what's that all about?
Well, it talks about historical examples where major breakthroughs came about through accidents.
Like what?
Like penicillin.
Really?
Yeah, it was a complete accident.
Wow.
Or even the theory of gravity.
Wait, are you saying Newton's apple incident was a fumble?
He didn't plan for that apple to fall on his head.
That's incredible.
Right, it was a random event that sparked a whole new understanding of the universe.
So you're saying our next big mistake can be our next big discovery?
Exactly. You never know what unexpected brilliance might be hiding in your next oops moment.
I love that.
So the main message of this whole chapter is that fumbling isn't about failing.
It's about embracing the chaos.
Yes, and navigating the messy experience of being human.
Because let's face it, we're all a little messy.
We are. Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive into the quirky positives of fumbling.
What are the key takeaways here?
Well, for me, it's about recognizing that those stumbles, those imperfections, they're not something to be ashamed of.
They're part of what makes us human.
Exactly, and they actually contribute to our resilience. They make us laugh, and they connect us to others.
And they can even spark creativity and new ideas.
So the next time you spill your coffee or trip over your own feet,
Don't beat yourself up about it.
instead see it as a chance to learn something new about yourself and the world around you.
Embrace the fumble.
Exactly. And here's a final thought for you.
I'm ready?
What unexpected beauty or insight might you discover if you stopped fearing your next fumble?
Ooh, I like that.
And instead embraced the messy, unpredictable adventure of being perfectly imperfect?
That's something to think about.
It is.
Thanks for this deep dive.
Of course, it's been a pleasure fumbling through this with you.
Anytime.